Wally?
Yeah, thank you, General. This is Lalit Jha from Press Trust of India. Have you got any evidence of Qaddafi regime receiving any kind of support from any other country in the world after the passage of the UN resolution? Maybe the arms and other things?
Could someone repeat, please?
Yes, sir. The question had to do with if you've seen any evidence since the passage of the UNSCR of Libya receiving support from other countries.
One more time, please.
Okay. Whether you've seen any evidence since the passage of the UN Security Council resolution of Libya receiving any support, material support from other countries.
I heard you loud and clear that time. I've seen no evidence of that. I think the United Nations Security Council resolution speaks for itself. The international community condemning the actions that were ongoing in Libya, where the regime was attacking its own citizens and felt compelled to act. And I've seen no evidence of other nations supporting this current regime. No evidence that I am aware of whatsoever.
Sir, Tony Capaccio with the Bloomberg News. What support at the tactical and the strategic level are you getting from U.S. intelligence in terms of targeting information on the morale of Libyan forces and the composition of the rebels?
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to go into a lot of detail about the kind of support, other than to say that the U.S. intelligence community is very active and has been tremendously supportive of the United States Africa Command, of the Joint Task Force, and of the coalition, and in helping us better understand the conditions under which we are operating. The free flow of information, we have representatives from many of the intelligence community here in Stuttgart, certainly afloat with the Joint Task Force and at each of the command nodes where that is necessary. So the intelligence support, I would say, Tony, that I am very, very pleased with the level of intelligence support that I have been receiving. Do I want more? Sure. Every commander wants, I would like to be able to stare consistently at every part of the country and know exactly what's going on. That's just not practical. But we've had the assets, the access, and the authorities to get the information we need to support our operations to a degree that has been, I would just say, has been very, very supportive of our mission.
That Colonel Qaddafi is poised through the use of surrogates to conduct terrorist attacks in Africa, Europe, or even the United States, a la TWA 800 or something of that magnitude.
You were cut off, but I think the question is the terrorist threat that might emerge from this by use of surrogates or others based on this activity. A very, very legitimate concern, and I think one of the things that I'm conscious of, not only as the commander of this particular operation, but more generally across the United States Africa Command, is, does this present an opportunity for Al-Qaeda or its associated groups to seek an opportunity while there is this unsettled nature in Libya to perhaps establish, and maybe in some cases reestablish, a foothold in particular parts of the country from which they could train, organize, or conduct attacks against Americans, or American interests. So we're monitoring that very, very closely. And again, I would go back to my previous answer to say that the linkages with the intelligence community are very sound. There is no higher priority for this command than the protection of America, Americans, and American interests from terrorist attack, and we watch that very closely.
Qaddafi-directed attack, though? Any indication he's got the intent to do that?
I've not seen anything specific to that regard, but I think we must operate under the assumption that he would like to see that happen, and so we must necessarily keep our guard and our vigilance very high.
Okay.
Sir, Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera English. My question is, do you have the ability to distinguish the opposition forces from the Qaddafi forces? The reason I ask is if the opposition forces start moving in a coordinated fashion, could they in fact be targeted as well?
The distinguishing between opposition and regime forces can be very difficult, particularly when they are in very very close contact. Again, we think, and our experience is that many in the opposition are basically civilians trying to protect their homes. But we also are clearly aware that there are some in the opposition that do. Again, they have armored vehicles, they have heavy weapons. We have seen in news reporting that some have certainly some at least limited offensive capability. So this will become a particular challenge for us should that eventuality occur. I would go back to the response to an earlier question and reiterate we have no authority and no mission to support the opposition forces in anything that they might do. What we do is base our judgments on the actions of ground forces. So wherever they are, if they are attacking civilians, then we have a mission to protect those civilians. If opposition forces somehow get engaged in other operations that's outside that mandate, then that's outside that mandate.
Opposition forces are trying to take back a city that Qaddafi holds. Couldn't you argue that they would be attacking civilians and therefore would they be targeted as well?
Again, I'm not crazy about answering the hypothetical questions. We would have to look at that situation as it was unfolding. We do have a mission to protect civilians, and we would have to make an assessment as that unfolded as to what our actions might be, consistent with 1973 and consistent with our mission.
We got to wrap up, David.
This is David Martin at CBS. I am still unclear what a Libyan army unit has to do so that it won't be attacked from the air. Does it just have to cease fire, or does it actually have to retreat out of and away from all those cities that you're talking about establishing a no-fly zone over?
There is no intent to completely destroy the Libyan military forces, but those forces which are attacking civilians and pose a threat and are not compliant with the direction from the international community, then those forces have been and will be attacked. But what we look for is, to the degree that we can, to discern intent. For example, if we were to see and have seen regime ground forces in a particular area, perhaps some area just 50 kilometers or so south of Benghazi. While we could attack them, we watch them and we see what do they do. If they start moving southward away from the areas of conflict, then we will maintain observation and see, do they continue moving, do they get out of the way, do they not attack civilians, and if they do, if they are compliant with that, we will not attack them. If they're not compliant, if they stop, if they take up defensive positions, if they pose a threat to civilians, then we have, and we will attack those forces. So there's no simple answer to, if you're at point A, you get attacked, and you get point B, you get attacked. The one thing that is certain, if you are threatening civilians or attacking civilians, then that falls well within the mandate and well within our mission.
Is not enough. If they dig into a defensive position to protect themselves, and that's not good enough for you, and you can attack them.
It depends again on where they are. There's been, the president and others have spoken about specific geographic areas from which they must remove their forces, and if they're compliant with that, or we perceive it is their intent to comply with that, then that's all well and good. If our assessment is that they are not intending, if they are not compliant or not intending to comply with that direction, then I have full authority to direct that those forces be attacked.
One quick follow-up, and then we got to be done.
Hi, General Ham. It's Courtney Kuby from NBC News. Have there been any coalition attacks on infantry elements or armor today or in the past 24 hours?
I don't know specifically. I suspect the answer is yes, just because of the nature of the conflict. But let me take that question, and I'll ask Colonel Childress to get a specific answer to that.
Okay, I know there's lots of interest, but we've gone 35 minutes. We need to get the general back to his duties. So, sir, I'll send it back to you for any closing remarks.
No, thanks you all very much. I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Again, what's impressed me throughout the first few days of this campaign, the professionalism, the competence, the commitment of the military personnel from all the nations, and frankly, how quickly they came together to operate very, very effectively. It speaks, I think, to, in many cases, long-standing military cooperation that allows these kinds of coalitions to come together quickly, and we all ought to be very, very proud of that. I certainly am of the forces of this coalition, and I was proud today to be able to pass on the appreciation of the President of the United States, of all those who have engaged in this mission. All of us from all of the countries involved should be justifiably proud of what our military is doing in this particular mission. Thank you very much.